Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A Trading and welcome to my Forex Weekly. This is just going to be that video where I'm looking in the charts, looking for the best investment opportunities for the week, showing you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to trade it, and then hopefully you can sort of follow in them footsteps and make some profits for yourself. If that sounds good, hit the subscribe button in the bottom right corner, stay up to date with the channel, keep track of the investments that I'm keeping my eye on, and hopefully, again, like I say, you'll be able to see some profits. Big shout out to the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for sponsoring me, sponsoring my videos. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And again, guys, go check that magazine out. Check me out. I'm on page 95. You can read my article in there. With that being said, we're going to go straight into the charts. Okay, guys, so the first thing I want to talk about this week is how the news is going to impact the charts. A few weeks ago, we had a lot of news during a week and was able to catch a lot of trades around the time that the news was taking place as well. So regarding this week, regarding Monday, the only thing that would come of a relevance to me is this Chair Powell speech, okay? So that's for the USD. That's going to be around 7:20, coming up towards the New York close that day. So we'll be watching that. I'm not really too focused on that. I'm not expecting much, but I'll be watching what happens to the dollar come Monday evening. If we move through now to Tuesday morning, the early hours of Tuesday morning, we've got the Australian dollar's interest rate decision. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that. And towards the later that night, I believe 11:45, the NZD's employment change and unemployment rate. So that's going to bring a lot of volatility around the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. So that's something to keep an eye out for Tuesday. Wednesday now, there'll be the NZD's Governor Orr speech. So that will also look to have an effect on the New Zealand dollar. So that will also power that. The next piece of news now, the most important day of the week is Thursday. Now, as you can see, we've got the pound's interest rate decision. We've got a whole load of things going on in the pound, and it's to do with this new vote that's coming in. So again, there'll be the Governor Bailey speech as well, just before the New York session. So again, there'll be a lot of watch on the pound USD that day. That's Thursday, so keep an eye out for that. And then Friday, towards the end of the week, we've got the NFP, that's the non-farm payrolls. And interestingly, we've got the Canadian dollar's unemployment rate. So I'll be looking again at the pound CAD, seeing how my trade may develop over the next week. So again, guys, that's the news. Keep an eye out for the times that I've mentioned, the days, and of course the currency. You'll tend to see a lot of power in that currency around these times. So again, just be aware of what's going to happen when the news takes place. Okay, guys, so I'm going to start on the usual ones. That's the gold pairs. We've had a bit of success from these recently, and I just want to bring you the opportunities now that I'm going to be looking out for next week. And I still believe that we're in a selling area. I still believe price is going to drop from these areas on this daily time frame, off this daily picture. And if I come down to the 4 hour here, just on gold euro, what I'm going to look for next week is price playing off of this candle here. I want to see what's happened. I know that that's got a lot of tendencies to be a market maker's candle. It's got the liquidity grab. Of course, it looks like they've turned price around from there as well and played off of it. So again, this week on the gold euro, I'm just going to be watching around the 14.85 to the 14.90 mark. I want to see if price is going to struggle in there and possibly be a sell. If I then move to the gold USD, this is the one that we've been talking about for a little while now. And my area has been playing off perfectly. So if I just show you this daily picture, this is the level that we're looking at, this candle here. As you can see, it's just played off the base of it, the bottom of it, as you can see there by touching the bottom of this cursor line. And what we're now seeing is price struggling. So I believe price is going to drop. It's now about the timing. If again, come down to the 4 hour, what I'm going to look at this week is just price retesting this area again. Is it going to get another move? Maybe around the 17.85, maybe 17.95. So it is a big range, but I'm just going to watch in there to see where price may struggle and then continue to be a sell again. That's the gold euro and the gold USD. I've got another one I want to try out this week, and it's on Bitcoin. So if I just quickly show you this area here, I'm going to be looking at this candle. This is where I believe the market makers have last done something in this chart. They've left the scenario here untouched for my students that would know. So again, I'm just kind of watching both areas around the 60,000 mark to the 64 mark. I'm going to see what's going to happen in there and look at a possible drop from Bitcoin. So again, keep an eye on that one for next week as well. And another move, something that we've had a lot of success on recently with that buy push on the UK100 down here. I'm just looking at price now. I did mention it wanting to come above 7,000. So it hit my target from that move up. And I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at the price. I'm looking at the way it's played off of this level. And I'm pretty confident we're going to get a drop on this one. So again, my advice would be to keep an eye on that 7,000 mark for the sell. I believe we're going to drop from somewhere in this blue body. So somewhere back in line between the 7020. So keep an eye on these areas, and let's see how they play out for next week. That's the UK100, Bitcoin, gold euro, and the gold USD. Okay, guys, so next up is the pound USD and euro USD. I'll start with the pound USD. We've started to get that push from the dollar, like I mentioned on my Thursday video. Late in the week on Friday it came. So just looking at this now, what I'm going to look out for early next week is price playing off of this level here for a potential buy. That's the 137,600. I want to see price tap into this early next week, maybe Monday morning's London open session, and then start to see the pound rising. And again, long-term targets, I still believe price is going to come up to this higher area before it dips into this lower one. There is a nice amount of liquidity building in that area now. So next week, I'm expecting the price to be up there. Of course, we've got that pound news, which may fuel it. So if it's not kicking off straight away early in the week, then remember, we've still got that Thursday pound news to obviously, like I say, fuel it up there. So keep an eye on that one. Now, what I want to mention next is the euro USD. This was mentioned on my Thursday video. I've been banging on about this area for a little while, and it was just a sell from this point here off of this candle. It was, I actually mentioned, I think the 121,500. It came right on the button, and it's a drop down. It's had a nice 40-30 pip move so far. So sorry, let me rephrase that, 90 pip move. So just looking at this area now, I think it's going to hold weight. I think that's the market makers, that's their money being exposed, showing us on Friday that it's actually there. So if I just come down to a 4 hour, what I'm going to look at this week is price kind of just retesting that area, coming back up maybe to 21,200, 21,400, and then getting the drop back lower for where I'd be looking for a potential buy from maybe around the 11800 area. So slightly different, the pound USD to euro USD. So this one I'm looking to see drop straight away, whereas the pound, of course, I'm going to look to see that rise. So I'm aware that not both of them will pull off. So I'm going to be watching both and seeing which one looks more likely, and then going with that strength. So that's the pound USD and the euro USD. Keep an eye out for them. Okay, guys, so the next up I want to talk about is the pound CAD. This is a trade that I've been riding all of last week, and we've now hit a target of 500 pips profit. So it's a very successful trade. It's a very good trade. Just looking at it now, looking at the area, I believe it's going to have a pause around this 168,500 level. I'm not really looking to trade this. I'm kind of just blowing my trumpet about how good the trade was from this daily area. Again, it came back and played off of this candle here, highlighted yellow, hit into that area and has had a monstrous drop to the downside. I'm just going to be looking at this for early next week, just kind of managing in it, seeing what's happening. Are we going to get the struggle here? I'm not saying that I am going to buy it. I've had my fun on the sell. I'm not going to try and ride both ways. But yeah, just keep an eye on this one. I do believe it's going to come a lot lower. I know a few students are riding this with me. So just remain patient for the start of the week. We'll look to pull the plug by Wednesday and see what price action is showing us. If I just move through to the next one, I've got another trade here on the pound NZD. Again, I mentioned this last week, so I'm kind of saying the same thing. I still believe we're going to get a buy push from the 191 level, maybe the 190, looking at this now on a daily time frame. If I just come over to the 4 hour, what I'm looking at is this gap here that's been created in the market. And I believe price is going to play off of something in this area here. And as you can see, it's around the 190 to 191. So let price come down there. It's still got about 170 pips to go. That's what I'm going to be looking at on the pound NZD. Euro NZD, again, another successful trades last week. It even gave us a couple of entries. So we had the 125 pip push to the downside here. It came back, gave us another opportunity to enter, and it's now back in the same area. So what I'm saying to do this week is, let's not be so naive to think it's going to sell from here again. I do believe this area may get dipped for liquidity. So I'm expecting the euro to eat this area, go above. That's not to say that it won't play again. So again, watch out for this on Monday. The New Zealand dollar obviously opens before the euro, so we could see some strength in that straight away. And I'm expecting maybe another 100 pip push. So this is going to be one of my main focuses again for the start of the week. It's in my area. It's in the trigger pulling area. So again, just keep an eye on that one. And again, it's the 167,800 to the 168 number. That's the level I believe they're playing off. So just keep an eye out for it. And again, if you can get a trade on that Sunday night, Monday morning, go for it on the New Zealand dollar. Last but not least on this section here is the euro pound. This is a trade I've also got positions in, and I'm looking to really hold on for this one. I believe it's going to drop from this area. There's a reason it's played here for a number of days now. And it's just a test of patience. It may be waiting for that pound news coming on Thursday with the interest rate decision. If I just come down to a 4 hour, it's this area. As you can see, we've had a decent push from it already. It's come straight back and it's still struggling to break the area. So again, guys, it's the 87 level, the 0.87 level. If you can get a trade on it, get your position in. Again, I'm not naive. I know that it's been here a little while. I know that liquidity will be building above. I know the market makers may want to go grab that. But if they don't and it drops, I want to make sure I'm on that bus. So again, keep an eye on that one. That's the euro pound at the 87 level. While we're discussing the euro, this is the euro AUD, and it's very similar looking to the euro pound, and I'm pretty much saying the same thing. I'm expecting a drop from this area. As you can see, price has played off of it a few times. There seems to be a struggle around the 156,500, 156,600, around that level. So just keep an eye on that. Again, I'm expecting the push. I don't know when it's going to come. But again, just keep an eye on that level. It's very similar to the euro pound. So if you're going to kind of take a position on that, this should follow. So again, let's just see when the euro is going to lose its strength this week. And then we should get that big drop to the downside. That's the euro AUD. 156,400 to 156,600 is the area I'll be looking to take a sell position. Okay, guys, another one I want you to look at this week is the pound yen. I've got kind of two options here. So I do believe the higher time frame is still waiting to do a big sell from this area. It still hasn't touched the area. So I do believe it's still got to go up there before we get the drop. If I come down to the 4 hour, what I'm looking at is a potential buy around this 150 mark, 150,200. I'm going to look to see how price plays off of this level down here. It looks a bit clearer on a 2 hour. So this is the candle I'm looking to play off in the scenario. I want to see price struggle there, and then it rises up towards our higher level where we can then look to see the sell from around the 152, 153, 200 mark. So just keep an eye on that one for the pound yen. We're going to look for that push early doors again with the pound strength, and then later on in the week seeing the yen take over and, you know, hopefully having a big push to the downside. That's the pound yen. Okay, guys, so just a quick update on the EURGBP. We had this trade that I've been mentioning for ages last week. I wanted to see it just dip into the 129,350 mark, 200 mark. It came to the 500 point and went up and made a really nice move to the upside. Looking at this now, I believe the yen is going to come back down, have a bit of strength to come back down towards this area. I'm going to look at the 130,600 to 130,500 mark for a possible re-entry, for a possible, you know, bigger push to the upside. So just keep an eye on that area on the EURGBP. I want to see it get to there early in the week, and then hopefully we can see a push around about Tuesday morning for the London Open. If I then move to the NZDJPY, this was a trade that I was mentioning for a sell around this area. It rose higher, it beat the area. That trade would be void. What I'm looking at is just how it's grabbed this double top. So this is the daily picture. There's a lot of liquidity above this area. They've now grabbed that and taken it. So we can now expect a big push to the downside by just understanding that they've taken a lot of traders out of this market. A lot of positions have now been absorbed. There's a lot of money that they've now grabbed. And that might be the energy that then pushes this down to maybe to the 75 level, a whole new low. So that's going to be something I'm looking at for the start of the week. I want to see how it's going to retest this area. So basically, yes, it's had a push from the 79 mark. I just want to see it push back up towards, say, 78, 800, 79. And then that's where I'll be monitoring to see where I can get the sell position for this week. So that's the NZDJPY. Okay, guys. So next up is going to be the USD Swiss franc. Now, I do want to see some dollar strength this week. So yes, we've had a nice sell push from this daily area. It's now come to a point where I believe it's starting to get exhausted. Now, what I mean by that is it's been dropping down for ages. I'm pretty sure now there's going to be a buy push soon to absorb some of the liquidity, some of the traders that have got in sells in these positions, and just kind of mess up the market for them a little bit. So what I'm looking at is just seeing a push from the 9,800 level. I just want to see price come back down, and then we're going to get a higher push. I believe some of this liquidity's got to get grabbed eventually. If I then move to the NZD USD, this is a trade that I know a few of my students were watching, and I was talking about this area being valid and invalidated. Now, what I usually say is, for me, a body would have to close above my area, close above my area of where I know the institutional play may be. And as you can see, it hasn't. The trade is still valid, although they've gone above the area, grabbed the liquidity, taken traders out. That dollar strength is still valid, and it's still going to, looks like it could be a big push, at least down to the 7,500 to close this imbalance. So that's still 100 pips from that area. What I want to see how to trade this next week is just a little retest. I want to see price come back up towards the 72,400, 72,600. Still see that dollar strength eventually kick in. and then come down and make a big push to the downside. So overall, we're looking to see the dollar get stronger over the Swiss franc and over the New Zealand dollar. So keep an eye on these early in the next week. Okay, guys, that's all from me this week. If you want to learn more about trading, you can reach out to me via email at capitalatrading@hotmail.com, or hit me up on the Instagram. Send me a direct message on there. It's adstar10_FX. If you like the video, like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. Keep up to date with the channel. Keep up to date with the trades that I'm looking at, and maybe take a few investments for yourself. See how it all works and see if you can make some profits. With that, guys, have a great trading week, and I'll see you all back here for Thursday, where I review what we've said today. Peace.